Hello, I am so happy to see you. Thank you again for joining me. My name is Pamela Wilson, and I coach people in mid-career to build profitable online businesses. And this is the third of our 3 revenue breakthrough sessions. And we're talking about pricing today. We're talking about premium pricing, which is the easiest way to increase your income quickly. And I'm really excited to dig into this information. So thank you so much for joining me. We're going to be talking about premium pricing, but we'll start by talking about pricing psychology and how you can use pricing psychology and a premium pricing strategy to earn more in the coming year. That is my goal. And this is just, kind of a warning. It's an advanced concept. So if you are just starting out an online business, this might not be for you. It's really for people who have an established business who are looking to grow that established business. So just want to be upfront about that. There's a lot of content on my website, and there is some content on the YouTube channel that you could explore if you're just starting out. But this is a more advanced concept. So just want to let you know. And at the end of today's presentation, I'm going to talk to you about a way that you and I can work together. So I will mention that briefly at the end of the presentation. But in the meantime, I want to ask you to grab something so that you can take notes, because we're going to be going over a lot of information. I'm going to move very quickly, and I want to make sure that you can capture everything. So grab a blank document, a blank piece of paper, something to write with, whatever works for you. So in just 2 weeks, I'm going to be celebrating my 30th year in business, which I can't believe. I started my business in 1992. And I'll be celebrating 12 years with an online business. And as I mentioned at the top of this presentation, I am on a mission to help people in mid-career to grow profitable online businesses. This is what wakes me up and sits me down at my desk every workday. And I've been developing successful online offers since 2010, since I first started my online business. And I definitely discovered the hard way and the low profit way, and I discovered the easier and higher profit way. And of course, that is what I am teaching today, and that is what I am focusing on. And that's why I put together these revenue breakthrough sessions for you, so that you could become familiar with the process that I use. Just so that you know, the information that I'm talking about in these sessions is inside my Offer Accelerator program. I pulled some of it out so that I could go over it with you and you could understand some of these higher level concepts that we talk about in the program. So when I first came online in 2010, I kind of fell for a very typical thing that we hear and see online, which is people try to tell you to not charge a lot of money for what you're offering so that it is accessible and you can sell it to a lot of people. We see that online a lot. The problem with that is that in order to make a decent living, you really have to sell in volume. And when you're first coming online, you don't have an audience to sell things in volume to. So this is an issue that you can end up fighting against for years. And what I'm suggesting is that you take the time to do that market exploration that we talked about in session 1, where you get to know what is out in the marketplace, how people are solving their problems, what they are liking about what's out there and what they're not liking about what's out there, and just seeing what the prices are in the marketplace now. So that's part of the exploration that we talked about in the first session. And then in the second session, we talked about how you can tap into your values and your existing strengths to create an offer that is really uniquely yours and that's memorable because it's so unique. And this takes work. I mean, there's no two ways about it. It takes work to do these steps, but it is so worth it, because this is how you put together a high value online offer. And charging more for what you offer is one of the fastest ways to earn more revenue. So that's why I'm focusing on it in these sessions, so that you can understand how it all goes together. What we're going to talk about today is how you can price in a way that positions your offer in the right place in the market and helps people to see that it's valuable. As I said, my goal in 2010 was to create a financially successful online business after having success in the offline space. And I wanted to switch my business model from time for money to something that was going to work better for my life. I mean, by the time I got to the middle of my life, I just started feeling like, life is short and I don't want to sell every working hour of my life. So I was looking for something different. And as I said, it took me a little while of following that standard advice to realize that following the standard advice was not going to help me to earn the revenue I wanted to earn. And anyone who knows me well at all knows that I'm kind of a systems and processes person. This is just how my brain works. So as I was learning to develop a higher value offer, I documented everything and created a system for building an offer like this. And that is what I teach inside my Offer Accelerator program. And that's some of that content is what we're going to go over today. So I think the big realization for me, and something I would love for you to think about as well, is that there really are a lot of ways that you can deliver transformation in a high value package when you are in midlife. You're really lucky. I like to say you're really lucky because you speak 2 languages. So the cool thing about those of us who are in midlife is we were not born with the internet. We had to learn the internet. So we existed in a pre-internet world, and now we're existing in a post-internet world. So when people come to the United States and they don't speak English, they oftentimes end up in ESL classes. So that's English as a second language. And I think that those of us who are in midlife are in ISL. We are in Internet as a Second Language classes or in a life that is Internet as a second language. And maybe some people think this is a disadvantage, but I actually think it's a huge advantage because it gives you a viewpoint that people who are younger than us don't necessarily have. We can draw from how things were done in a pre-internet world, and we can apply what we know about how the internet works as well. So we have a ton of advantages, and you need to make sure that you are charging a premium for everything that you bring to the table, all of this second language knowledge that you have, where you're not just speaking internet, you're speaking pre-internet as well. So keep that in mind as you're thinking about your premium pricing. And again, I'm asking you to sort of reject this idea that you can't get paid as well for delivering your knowledge on the internet. You totally can. And what I want to talk about is this idea of pricing psychology and smart strategies so that you can charge that premium price. So one thing I want you to remember, if you remember basically 3 words from this presentation, and these are the 3 words. Pricing is positioning. Now, positioning, just as a reminder, positioning is marketing speak for how your offer is perceived in the marketplace by the people you want to make the offer to. So it's how you present your offer and how the market perceives your offer. That is positioning. And pricing is positioning. When you use premium pricing, it is your way of telling the market that you have something valuable to offer, and that belief has to start with you. Pricing is positioning. Let's keep that in mind as we start on the 3 steps I want to go over today so that you can get this premium pricing really nailed down. So the first thing, the step 1, is I want you to review the information that you were able to extract in session 1 of these revenue breakthrough sessions. So we talked about market exploration in that session, And what we were doing is going into the market and seeing what is out there now in terms of what offers already exist in the market. And then we also were looking at what people loved about the solutions that are in the market now and what was lacking. And if you watched that session, I talked about looking at Amazon book reviews and reading the 5-star reviews and the 1 and 2-star reviews so that you could pick up the language that people were using around the problem that they were hoping to solve and what they loved about the solution they were given in the book they read or what they found lacking in that solution. So if you have done that work, then you have a really good idea of what's already out in the market and how your offer might fit in that market that already exists. Step 2 is to think about the true transformation that you deliver with your offer. What do I mean by true transformation? So the true transformation is not, I'm going to deliver, 7 modules with 21 lessons total and 18 videos and 7 worksheets. No, that is not the transformation. That is the material you are going to use to deliver the transformation if you're selling a course, for example, but that's not the transformation. The transformation is what happens when you take your customer from where they are now to the result that they want. That result, that transformation that happens to them, that is actually what you are selling. And I want you to think about the true transformation, and the way we arrive at that true transformation is to do a little thought exercise, and I want to walk you through it. In the online space, most offers that sell really well fit within one of 3 categories. They are either about improving relationships, and I want you to take a really broad view of what I mean by relationships. So a relationship might be, it might be a relationship with, it might be a romantic relationship, a relationship with a partner, right? But it could also be your relationship with your parents or your children or your co-workers or your employees or the management in your company. It could be any kind of human relationship. It could even be your relationship with a pet. Any kind of relationship improvement, even if it's your relationship with yourself, that fits in the category of improving relationships. The second big category is money. It's helping people to possess more money. And again, I want you to think really big about this. You might be helping them grow a business. So for example, my Offer Accelerator program definitely fits in this category because I'm focused in that program on helping you to grow more revenue. I want to help you have more money in your bank account. So there's that way of thinking about improving people's bottom line, which is super obvious. But there are lots of other ways that you could be helping to transform people's money situation. You might be helping them to save more money by helping them to work efficiently in their businesses, for example. You might be helping them to create a situation that brings in consistent revenue to their life. You might be helping them to manage investments. You might be helping them to just have more resources available in terms of money in all the different areas of their lives. You might be helping them spend less or spend more intelligently. Anything related to improving people's money situation fits in that broad money category. And the last category is better health. And again, think big. So better health could be a better medical outcome. It could be helping people to improve their ability to exercise. It could be helping people to have more flexibility or better strength. It could be helping people to live with a disease more successfully. It might be helping people's mental health. It might be helping people, really have any kind of improved health in any way, that fits in that category. So those are the three categories: relationships, money, and health. And those are the most common categories that most online offers fit into. So here's where I want you to think about that true transformation. I want you to think about what that transformation is worth today and tomorrow and over their lifetimes. Just keep in mind that when you deliver that transformation, the ripple effect of the work that you do with someone doesn't stop the day that you stop delivering that transformation. So let's go back to the health example. Let's say you have helped somebody develop an exercise habit when they didn't have that, and you do it with a 12-week program. So you work with people for 12 weeks. Over the 12 weeks, they steadily start exercising more often. After you stop working with them, they continue to exercise for years. And that's where I want you to think, what is that worth to them? Because the lifetime impact of the work that you've done with that person is worth a lot. It's worth more than just the 12 weeks you worked with them. So think about what that lifetime value might be. This should be a big number. It should be a big, scary number. And I want you to keep in mind that number is only for you. But I just want you to realize that the transformation you're delivering has a long-term impact, and that long-term impact is worth money. So you have that number in mind. Let's move on to step 3. In step 3, we're going to work on a premium pricing strategy. And the idea here is we want to steadily increase your price from the first time you offer it over time. So the way we arrive at our price is we think about that lifetime value, we think about the true transformation and the value of that, and then we look at the marketplace and look at what's out there, and then we take a deep breath and we decide to be brave and charge a premium price. So we arrive at that number, and I'm going to call that your regular price. The very first time that you put your offer out into the marketplace, I typically recommend that you cut that regular price in half. You want to come up with a price that it just feels like a no-brainer. So if your offer is typically going to cost $4,000 the first time you offer it, it's $2,000, for example. So you basically cut it in half to make it an introductory price that is really hard to resist. Then when you are promoting that offer, you will typically have a promotion price that you offer. So let's say that you've offered it for the first time at half price, and then you come back in 6 months and you offer it again. Well, that promotion price is usually about 35% less than your regular price. That's a number that will get people to take advantage of your offer during a promotion. So that's how we can use pricing strategy to really make sure that we're motivating people to make a decision. 2 more things you might consider using when it comes to pricing strategy, and this goes back to pricing psychology. Make sure that if you are sharing a promotional price, that you state the regular price for the offer and you put a strike through that number. We see this online a lot, and the reason we see it is because it works. We see it in retail establishments all the time as well. You'll look at a tag and it says regular price and it's a big number, and then the sale price, and that just motivates us to want to invest. So make sure you state the regular price. If you can run a strike through it, that's a really great way to show people that they are not going to pay that price. They're going to pay the sale price or the promotion price that you're offering. The other thing to consider using, and again, this is something we see online a lot, is to use what is called the left digit effect. And that is where people end their prices with a 9 or a 7 or a 5. And the reason people do that is it puts the number just below a larger number. And, this is your mileage may vary kind of recommendation. You have to know your market and how people in your market are going to see pricing. but it's something you might consider. If you're looking at a large price, you can just change that digit that's on the end of your price to make it seem more palatable and to get people more interested in investing. All right, I want to briefly tell you how you and I could work together, because I do have an opportunity coming up. At the beginning of January, I am going to do an offer sprint with the newest members of my Offer Accelerator program. And my Offer Accelerator program is for people who have established online businesses, who are ready to really optimize their existing offer or are ready to get help developing a high value offer. So maybe you have an offer that's worked okay, but it's not super high value, and you are struggling with that whole thing of just getting the volume of people you need to buy your lower priced offer. I specialize in helping people to develop high value offers. And as I mentioned, I have a whole system for it. I have templates, worksheets, and guidance, all designed to help you to work through that process. The program is open now. We are taking applications. I'm going to actually put the URL on the screen so you can see it. That's where you apply. It's theofferaccelerator.com. The application takes about 7 minutes, and I review every single application. And I do want to let you know, a lot of these programs involve you getting on a really high pressure phone call with a salesperson, and we don't do that. The way we operate with the Offer Accelerator is you apply, and if you seem like you would be a really great fit for the program, I am going to send you to advanced training. I developed an advanced training session that shows exactly what we cover in the program and gives you all the information that you need so that you can make a decision. So it's very low pressure. It's very, chill. I just give you the information you need. You're a grown-up. I'm a grown-up. I don't want to pressure you to make a decision. I want you to just have the information you need so that you can decide whether or not it's a good fit for you. So I would love to see your application. And if there is anything that you're wondering after you look at that page, you can feel free to ask on the page or ask here below this video. I'd be happy to offer. And if you are thinking about it and you're not sure, I want to encourage you to go ahead and apply. I will give you feedback and let you know. So if you seem like a good fit, we're going to chat probably on social media or maybe by email. I'll write you back. And if you're not a good fit right now, I will give you that feedback as well and give you some options and some guidance on what you can do to take the next step in your business. I would love to see your application. Just send it into at theofferaccelerator.com. And I want to thank you so much for attending these revenue breakthrough sessions. It's been a lot of fun to deliver this kind of high level information to you. I would love to hear how it goes. So leave me a comment below any of these videos and let me know how it's going with the material that we covered in these sessions. Thank you so much.